To do. All right. So Paul Manassian is here. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you. So Marie, you feel good?
Yeah, no, I got it. It finally updated, so we're good. We didn't have to do the alternate.
Awesome. All right. Have fun, everybody. I'll see you later. Hopefully some of you will come to painting later on. Bye, Marie.
Bye. All right. I've been watching my niece and nephew for the last couple days. They're so cute. And so mom and dad are like, how did they do last night? Did they sleep okay? So, hi, Paul. I don't know if you've been in one of my classes or not.
No, I've tried like many times. But this is yeah, but I like pastels. That's
Oh, good. So you've used them before then?
yeah, I've used them with Leia, but not to the level that you guys have reached probably. So
Oh, well, we are all on different levels, and which is fun. It makes it so no worries, just move at a pace. I kind of similar to Leah's style. We just kind of do step by step, and then you have the WhatsApp. Are you in on our WhatsApp thread?
yeah, she's added me to that. Yeah, because I was like, she added me, and then I was like, I gotta go. Like it's almost every Saturday. I'm like, I'm gonna jump on, but I also have another thing that I do on Saturdays. So I mean, yeah, on Saturdays for her, and then I have this is Sunday too. So
Okay. So I'm sending across right now the black and white version with the grid on the WhatsApp thread for everyone to kind of just get an idea of where the horizon line is. And then, you know, it's more about the mountains. I thought this would be a good picture because it's got a lot of contrast with hue, and we can play up color if we want. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Rash. And so I was thinking about doing purple as an underpainting, and then I got to thinking, and this is something, you know, me as an artist as well, as I think about the color wheel and opposites or complementary, right? Or what do I want to do for something that can maybe bring out the color that I'm going to lay on the top. And so it's more looking at my color wheel. It's more of like a red orange, and I thought about doing a blue-green underpainting. So I picked out some blue-green sticks. I'm going to take a picture. I did four sticks. And let's see. So it's dark, two mediums, and a light. And if you don't have exact colors, don't worry about it. So the way, Paul, just what we're doing is, do you have sanded paper?
no, I have watercolor paper.
Okay. And do you have any clear gesso by chance?
I do have gesso, yes.
Okay.
Oh, clear gesso? No, I have regular white gesso.
Okay. You can just use the watercolor. You'll just, instead, we're going to use the alcohol for the wet underpainting.
I have alcohol.
But it only can work on the sanded paper.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll send you a picture of the sanded paper that will take water or Gamsol, or this is a UArt brand.
Thank you.
And you can get it on Amazon or wherever. I like the 400 grit. I'm out of it. So it's a popular grit, but this is 500, which is fine. And so that's generally what I use, either that or pastel matte. And I'll take a picture of what that looks like. And you can also do a wet underpainting on that too. So those are the two I suggest. For watercolor paper, you can do a clear gesso, and it creates like a sand, like a grid on it. You can't do the wet underpainting, but you can do like a dry underpainting. But watercolor is fine. Yeah.
We're getting a lot of echo. Is like maybe
I noticed that. Let me
so maybe you should mute one of them.
it should be muted. That's not okay, hold on. No audio. So that's not on audio. Let me disconnect my headset and then fix it. I guess it's going to be a technical D. Okay. Still.
Sometimes it's people are connected, and so maybe if everybody else goes on mute, that might help.
Let's try that. Nope. Still. Not really sure how to make it.
We can just live with it then.
Can you hear me? Probably barely, huh?
I can hear you. It's not.
I'm using my computer. I've never had it do the background noise though. Am I echoing to you still? No? Okay. Let's just try this.
No, you are echoing, sorry.
Yeah, it says I don't know. We'll try it out and we'll just see if it will go away, and I'll just work with it for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch out with a pencil what we have laid out here. We're going to create a path leading up to the mountain. this mark right here is just to indicate that we're going to create a pathway like we've talked about compositionally wise. So it's just a reminder that this is kind of where I'm going to want to put kind of where I'm light. So those are the colors I'm using for the underpainting. So I'm going to use the dark green on these shadowed areas for the mountains, and then the medium green for the sunlit. The lightest color is going to be the sky. And then I'm going to bring some of that other medium blue and green down here in the foreground. For you, Paul, go ahead and use the colors, and then you'll just use a dry rub, like with an old t-shirt, or if you have like foam or something that you can rub over it to kind of blend it in.
Foam.
Do you have anything like that?
Do I have foam? I don't think I have foam.
Okay.
I have a pool noodle.
Yeah, perfect. Medium tone here. Bring some down in here. And pick up that medium green. I'm going to bring it down in here. That pathway. And then the lightest for the sky. Very loose. try muting yourself, Paul, and see if that helps. I'm trying to, maybe it's just too many people are logged on and it's trying to pick up. We'll try that. Okay, so I'm going to use the alcohol wash and just put it in my container. Yeah, that looks good, Jeannie. It's going to be fun. Your blue may not show up too much on that green, but that's okay. I like that idea. Go ahead, and everyone else can send in their pictures too, and I can look at it. I'm going to use my fan brush to apply the rubbing alcohol, or not rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. I'm almost out, looks like. I'm going to start with the lightest color. And I like the drips. Get my paper towel out. And so, Paul, if you haven't tried this technique, this is essentially just turning this pastel into paint. And it gives it a really nice base to work. I mean, we're toning the paper essentially, but you get this really lovely color underneath. And so I prefer to do a wet underpainting. And it's okay if it's not really looking exactly how we drew it out. It's just looking at the values of the colors. And that's kind of how we're choosing these sticks, is based on, usually upright planes are dark, like trees or mountains. But because the sun's shining on this mountain, I know that we're probably not going to want a real dark color. And so that's kind of why I chose the medium pastel. And you can get some really cool mark making when you're doing this wet underpainting, which I love. And I love this color. But I think these red violets are going to look really nice. Do refer to your color wheel if you don't have a color wheel, because sometimes I do get stuck, you know, about what do I want to choose for my underpainting if I do one, and how do I want it to look. I want the color to vibrate on top. And something that I've been going over in our class a lot about is, you know, making those colors pop, and how do we do that? And a lot of times it's complementary colors. They look nice. Landscapes, we have a lot of green. So we do a lot of red or pinks, oranges, warmer tones underneath the greens. And it just makes those blues and greens that we lay on top really vibrate. And of course, we don't want it to look boring either. So it's fun. I'll take a picture. Good, Claudia. Yeah.
Sorry, Marie, sorry. What is the darkest color? Is it a shade of blue or?
Yeah, it's a blue-green.
Okay, it's blue-green. Okay.
Yeah. And did you see the colors, Rosh, that I sent over?
Yes, I'm just not able to make out, like, is it a shade of blue or a green? So can I use a very dark blue on
Yeah,
that?
you can. Yeah. Yep. This is what happens when all of a sudden we realize how many colors, and Julie has fallen into the pastel trap. It's like you realize, oh, I need that shade, and it's fun. I'm just letting it dry almost. This is also a picture that if we wanted to make it about the foreground more, we could have. We could have designed it to use those grasses, those really pretty purple, red, violet grasses. And just like we did in one painting where we did the mountain and then all of the flowers, and you could really emphasize the foreground. So that, you know, that might be another way to practice this picture is move your horizon line up. So if you move it up here and have just a little bit of the mountains in a distance and then really play up the foreground, that's another idea to practice. But this is why we moved this down farther, because we're really working these mountains. And I want to show you, this is the downside, I guess, of taking pictures. You know, it looks almost the same value, right? This mountain, but we know we have to make this lighter and duller to push these mountains back. So even though it appears that this whole range is the same color, it's not. So I highly suggest, this is something that we've been talking about, Paul, in the classes, when we're looking at each plane, then this plane, and then as we move forward, as we're looking at what we want to paint, you know, as we move back in the distance, it gets lighter and cooler and duller with landscape painting for perspective. And this is probably something you already know. So, but again, it always is a challenge when we're looking at pictures and we're painting from it, because we have to know what we know and not necessarily what we're seeing in the picture. We have to paint what we know. And we know that this is further back than this mountain. And the way that we have to paint it is to make this lighter in value. And it is a challenge. All right. Let's start in. Good job. Okay, so the next part we're going, make sure everyone is muted. I think that's what's happening. We're going to start in with our darkest darks. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to use purples and blues. So I've got a dark navy blue, I've got a dark purple, and we're going to reinstate these darks right in here. And then we're going to add some darks down in here in the foreground. So I've got dark blue and two different purples, and I'm going to put them right up here so I can show you. Good, Julia. That looks really good. Here's a purpley blue. And I try to keep them pretty close in value. Variety of purples. And then here is a picture of them in my hand. So you can also see. Okay. So I'm going to start in with the darker purple on the cooler side. I'm just going to lightly come over this green in the dark shadowed area, just light touch. Don't have to press hard. I'm just looking at the dark areas. Put a little bit down in here. And why do I pick multiple colors of dark? Well, because in landscape, it's lots of colors. And it looks, what the depth part of it is what works best when we apply these darker colors over multiple colors. They just lay and work well with each other. I'm using this warmer on the warmer side, still in the cooler range, but it's a warmer cool, if that makes sense. And I'm going to bring some of this down in here, back into that pathway. I've laid out here's a range. One, I have like a peach color in there, which I realize after laying it with the purples, it doesn't work. Here's some more red violets and the blues underneath. And then I've got a range of some red oranges for the mountains and yellow. I know that I have a lot of different pastels here, so just use the best that you have. Look through your oranges and look for some red violets and some red oranges and pull those out. And we want at least a dark value, a medium value, and a light value in your red orange and your red violets. Again, it doesn't have to be exact color that I have, but just so you know where we're starting. Okay, I'm going to start working up on the left-hand side, and I'm going in with these range of violets. Okay. This is my brighter violet, and I'm just going to pop it down here in my pathway. I'm going to work my way to the duller. Let's see here. Color is relative, so I'm kind of laying it on here to see where it falls. It's still pretty bright. It's okay. I'm going to test out a few colors here. Okay. So we've got this purple, and this purple. And I'm going to use this off to the left side. I do try to keep my pastels in the value range from light or from dark to light. So as I use them, I try to put them back so I can remember where so I'm using the dark purple that I showed you, and I'm just bringing it. I need to get a softer side. I'm going to come in with that lighter. Right in here. Going a shade lighter. Take a picture. We're just looking at the light and darks, and if you need to, you can flip your picture to the black and white to help you see that too. Okay. Working our way back in here. This is like a dull orangey brown. Then we'll come back with a duller purple. Come up over that. Good, Rash. That looks good.
Thanks.
Yep. So now just pull out some ranges of red violets and red oranges.
Yeah.
If you have some, and if not, that's okay. Then you can use more on the orange and the purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just starting to add into the back, and we're going to go ahead and start in on our sky a little bit to help us kind of get settled into what we need to be right here. So how are you doing, Paul?
Can you send me a red violet color example? So
Yep. These are red violets. All right. Let's work on the sky a little bit. Ooh, that's pretty, Jeannie. I love it. Don't you love those colors together? Yeah. I think they really work well. Great job. Yeah. Even your sky, you could leave your sky like that. It looks really good. How's everyone else doing? Let me know if you have questions. I'm trying not to move too fast.
Marie, what's the that color in the middle that you've got there? There's a sort of, it looks brown on the screen. Is that?
Yeah,
that?
it is. It's kind of like a muted tan.
Muted tan.
Yeah, here.
Oh, I can see it actually on that one. Okay. Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll mess with that a little bit, I know, just because we've got to get back into the sky, which will then kind of give us a better idea of where we're at. So I'm going to start with these blues that I pulled out, and they are ranging from the dark to the light. My guess is I'm not going to probably use too much of the dark. I might start right here towards the end, and I'll put these colors up so you can see what they look like on the paper too. I'm thinking the last two of that blue, which look like this. And then I'll bring in a really light blue for like the clouds. Kind of need to see how it looks like on here. Just very light touch. And I'm just taking this light pastel over and blending. Looks pretty on that. I'm not going all the way down to the horizon because I'm going to get a lighter stick to kind of even blend down there along the mountains. Just kind of coming back and forth a little bit. Oh, I gotta clean my hands here. It's a little bit. As we always, like when we move down to the horizon line, right, it does get warmer. And I know that you kind of want to use this white. We actually want to use more of a turquoise. And it is clouds laying on that, and we can add a little bit lighter, but for right now we're going to go back to that lightest turquoise we laid down as our underpainting, and just it ties back these colors. I'm just pressing lightly into the sky, and you can kind of carve around your mountains to make them a little bit more prominent, but not too hard. As we move into the distance, remember our edges are softer. Again, just because this is a hard edge, we know that we want it to be softer as it moves into the distance. I'm just going to bring this up here. And I feel like this is too exact, so I'm going to kind of come down a little bit here. Okay. So now we're going to work on this mountain here and then move to this one. So as we come forward, it's going to be more saturated. So I'm going to start with these red oranges. And so I'm going to start with kind of a bright saturated red orange, and then I'm going to use just a little lighter. Okay. Like a bright. And I know it seems bright, but that's okay. We'll come over it. And I'm just going to bring it down a little bit here for the back mountain. And then I'm going to come in with this really bright Just like that. I'm going to use some of that salmon color over here on that bright peak. Just like that. I'm letting the underpainting shine through still, so I think it reads good. Okay. How's everyone doing?
Just in the sky.
Coming along?
Yep.
Okay. So we need to get down in the foreground. One thing before I forget, Leah had wanted me to spotlight this video. I guess in the past videos, it wasn't showing up with just this actual piece of it. So you should be able to see it much more clearly and actually see what you're painting a lot better. So I apologize. We didn't know, I didn't know. So if you need to go back and rewatch it, I'm assuming you guys have been pinning this camera so you can see it. But if you were to go back, it wasn't showing up very well. So I apologize. I'm just going to come back in here with the darks. And this is just the same dark purple that I had. And I'm just coming back into that purple and redefining the dark. That's in shadow, and I'm using the side, the edge of my pastel to kind of just indicate that there's some trees, but again, I'm not painting in those leaves, and I'm coming right over the underpainting, which is fine. I'll come back in for here a little bit. Not much, just a little. And then we're going to come down to the grass and the foreground. So again, just thinking about what do I want to vibrate on that. I might even put more of like that dark green that we were using on the grass. So it's that blue-green rush that you were asking about. Probably just kind of bring some of that back in here.
Yeah.
Right at the base of this bright, kind of to say, okay, this is the dirt part.
So the color, Marie, on the face of the right side mountain, that's like a dark red, or is that the one?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like a
really bright.
it's like a dark red orange.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah. But then it looks different on that turquoise. So I'm going to come in the grass area with a medium tone brown for the dirt, as I call it. And I'm just lightly putting it in here. And then I'll come back. Here, I'll take a picture of it so you can. And then here it is on the painting, so you have an idea. and it is more saturated, but as we move into the distance, right, it gets lighter in here. So I'm just thinking about what colors I need to add in here, lighter colors, okay? So I'm gonna go lighter brown, lighter tan. And again, I'm just putting some in here, a little bit at the bottom. It's too dark. It's too peachy. I'm just kind of establishing that horizon line here. This is the same color I used in that back mountain. Come in here with some more brights where those grasses are. Again, that's the red violets. Back and forth. Use that lighter tan color again. Okay. I'll take a picture where we're at. Looks very bright. Now I have fixative. And I'm gonna spray a little bit on here. And this is the fixative I use, Paul. And what I like about it is if I'm gonna do any type of, if I want to hold this layer in and not have it mix with the top layer, I spray a little bit of it. And it allows for me to layer on top of it and just get a little more mileage out of my sanded paper.
Oh, wow. This is like this is like so much for me because I mean, I really liked pastels, and then there's like all these things that are brand new. It's great.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'm not getting too confusing for you. I know that I've worked really hard to try to gain everyone's trust, because sometimes it does look a little crazy with all my bright colors, and then we go back in at the very end and lay down the top colors. And so there is a method to my madness, and I do tell them that it's like a birthday cake. You got to build the cake first, frost it, and then put the sprinkles on top. And those sprinkles are going to be these last colors, last bit of colors on our paint. So, oh, don't forget to mute yourself, Paul. Sorry. I think that's why it's echoing. But so there is a process, and that's kind of what I'm hoping that you gain from this, and that everyone does. It's not about making it look exactly like the painting or the picture. We're using it as a guide, and then we have to kind of switch things up, and that we talk a lot about composition and like I said, creating a pathway of our viewer getting here and then moving up through this mountain, and hopefully getting the viewer to come over here to the top of this mountain. And the way we do that is with color. And that's our sprinkles of the cake. That's what I mean by that. So we're just still kind of in the midst of building our foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this. I see Claudia just sent in something. Oh, I love it, Claudia. Yeah, it's so pretty. I love it. So yeah, you're getting it, and you know the pathway. Of course, we're gonna, you know, again put the tops of our grasses just a little bit here and there to pull our eye through the painting. But I'm gonna spray mine. Everyone doesn't have to spray. It does darken a little bit, Paul. Don't worry. It's not gonna make it too dark. I don't suggest using the spray though if you were, let's say, going to sell it to someone. I wouldn't use this as a finishing spray. It's really for us to build layers. I have a finishing spray that a Pastels has told me to use, and she uses on her paintings for galleries and so forth. Ooh, yeah, Jeannie. Nice, Mira. Don't you love it? Good job. Very good. Let's see, it's almost dry. Okay. It's kind of stinky too. All right, so let's get into these mountains here. I've got my golden colors. I'm gonna lay on the bright to the light. And something I do say, Paul, a lot is color is relative. And what that means, again, apologize if you already know what this is. It's going to read differently next to different colors. And so it may look to be what it should be. And then once you put it on, you're like, that's not the color I want. So I try to pull out sticks and what I think is going to read well, but that's why I kind of have this testing side, because I'm trying to see how these colors read next to each other, because they may look warm or cool by itself, but when it gets up to this color, this is reading warm and this is cool, but this is a warm color against a cool blue color. So it's kind of funny how the colors work. So I'm just seeing what I have here. These are yellow pinks. That's a little too pink. So that would work well for our front mountain. So I'm going to take a picture of it. So it's a golden brown. And here's the stick. It's a soft pastel. And I'm just going to pull it right over it. Just like that. Then I'm going to move to this golden yellow, clean it off a little bit, to this back hillside, going in the direction of the mountain. Then I'll come back with that golden color. All about edges. So I see right in here, I'm probably going to need to make that a little lighter. So I'll come back behind that first mountain. Just like that. And then come here with more orange. Like that. Okay. All right. And then I'll come over here with some brown. And then I'll come on top with that gold. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of gold on that peak in the back. Okay. And then we're going to come down into this valley, and we know the cloud up above is kind of hanging and it's created this shadow. So it's cooled it down, but it's still warm. The sun's still out. And so we do want to keep it warm. So let's see here. It's got like a, that might be too dark. We'll try it out. It's a red brown. It comes up like this. Soften the edges. It's going to come just like that. And we're just still building up, building. Okay, that's going to be good for the top of those. Okay, we're going to come down into here, come back with that muted green. Just glaze over the top a little bit. Dull it just a little bit. Just a little bit over here. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with some bright colors on the grass area here. And I mean bright, just a little bit of a brighter pink purple. Again, just thinking about my path just in those areas. This is a bluer. I feel like it kind of needs more blue back in there. So we're just building the colors. A little bit of lightness back in here, shining over that turquoise. Come back with the dark purple down in here, the base. I'm just thinking about the darks right along here, some darks in here. Even though we're kind of creating this pathway of our own a little bit, I'm just making it a little brighter. I'll come back with the darker purple up into the mountains here. I feel like we kind of need to address, I need to address this. There's this line that kind of comes out, the shadow. So I'm going to bring these trees up a little bit. Then we have trees in the distance in that valley. I don't want to use this dark, right? Because again, we want to make it lighter in the back. So I'm going to go to a light muted purple and come back in here and put those lights back in. And then come up here. We've got the shadowed area. And let's see here. Might work. I'm just tapping just to get a little bit of that color on. Just looking at the edges here. I'm kind of looking at this dark area where there's probably some trees. And so now this is the same value, so I need to come back in with the darker purple and just darken this up just a little bit more. And I'll push that back. Just making sure that this line isn't exact. I know it appears that way, but we really don't want it to be exact. Too boring. Soften that edge. But we will come back down along this edge and make it bright. It's just using that orangey color that we had out, and I'll put some yellow on it. Maybe even just a little bit in the back. That glow. Tap it. Good, Rash. So what we'll want to do now is take a lighter tan on that back mountain. So go a value or two lighter than what you have right here.
Yeah. Okay. And just
That what will happen is, so, and it's going to be duller than that bright yellow that you have, the yellow orange to the right, duller. So make it muted. So it's going to be a really muted. So for example, this is a muted brown purple versus a bright purple. See the difference? So what you want is that really grayed down, but lighter in color. And so it won't compete with this, but it will push it back in the distance.
can you put it on the on your right hand side, because the camera is not showing that end.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, right hand side. Yeah. Now I can see. Okay.
Yeah. So see how this is that lighter, duller color, and then this is in the purple family, but this is so much lighter and duller. So this is going to be distant, and this is going to come forward.
Yeah. Okay.
So in order to create this mountain right here to come forward, we need to go lighter and cooler and dull, a duller color. So like this would be a really dull color versus, right, this, you see?
Yeah.
So we want, there's that. And then how about this? Let's see here. Well, that's too bright. And test them out. So because, right, when they lay next to each other, they're not going to read the same. Like that's a really dull purple and that's a bright purple.
Yeah.
And so this would be good for a distant color. But let me see what you have and what you find. Let's see here. That actually was a, what did I do with it? You can even mix colors together.
Yeah.
If you can't
Actually,
get that dull.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to have these. Yep.
So it became a bit brighter. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what takes. It's just finding that right value. Like that's too light. So come in. me just soften those edges. And then I'm going to go a little brighter right in here, because it's coming down into that shadowed area, so it's going to get a little bit more saturated.
These are the tans that I have.
That's good, Mira. So I love the path. Continue on with that light gold.
Okay.
And then I would bring it kind of up here, right? Like kind of a zigzag. So you're
Okay.
kind of coming this way, bounce it over here, because then it's going to bounce you up to your hill up there, which is perfect.
Okay.
And then I would maybe straighten out your horizon over here a little bit. So take that,
Okay.
your kind of like a brown, and maybe
Okay.
just bring it up a little
Straight.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Good. And let's see. Okay, so these are your colors, Rosh?
Yeah, these are the tan shades that I have.
Okay, so that bottom one,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really good color. If you can just take a light, do you have like a light yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a light yellow over it and see what it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah. It really becomes edges with landscapes, with anything that we do, right? It does. And as long as our value, our light and darks are correct, you can choose whatever color you want. It's not, I mean, there's an artist that I absolutely love, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. He's a pastelist, and then he also, another oil painter. So let me show you. Okay, Tony Alon, I think is how you say his name. He does amazing job working the edges. And I'm going to show you a picture of what I'm talking about. And here's his name. Look him up. I love color. I love to use the color. And so here is a great example of a pastelist using bright colors and the edges between the lights and the darks. Another landscape artist is Mike Slav, I think is his name. He's another painter. And look at these colors. And this is what I'm trying to show you, is that you know that the mountains sometimes aren't these colors, but because the values are correct, it reads well. So see how amazing that is?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that bright orange red in that mountain.
I remember when we worked on sailboats, I just randomly chose to go bright sky, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't amazing like this. But I was impressed. But Leia was actually not that impressed with that, and it was kind of like it was sloppy. But yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah, look at the purple up in. Oh wait, Paul. Sorry. So look at Mike's painting. up in the sky, that purple with that orange, right? I mean, and then you come down into the mountain with that aqua, teal, blue, and the red, violet into the mountains. But because the values are right, it does read well. It does read right. So that's what I'm trying to hopefully show you, in that these bright colors, as long as the values are reading right, as long as we're using the light as and duller as we push back, we can use whatever we want, whatever color we want. And that is not easy to do, okay? If we were to turn this picture that we're painting right now into black and white, like I showed you, and then just randomly picked, right, without looking at it in color, just randomly said, okay, I'm gonna do a triad of colors. And I decided I'm gonna do green, violet, and orange. Those are the only three. And then I'll use, you know, light, medium, and dark of each color, green, violet, and orange. Then you take those colors and you apply it to the painting wherever you feel you want. Try it out. It's hard. It's not easy. But what it does is it forces you to think about color, not the mountain, not the clouds, but color and its relationship with values, and how you can choose whatever you want as long as the values, those light and darks, are right. So I really encourage you to kind of look up these artists and look at their works and see how they process things, because it is, and Tony, I think he still does quite a few workshops, and he's got some videos. He's a very well-known pastelist, been around for a very long time.
So practicing like a technique that gets the values and the colors
Yep.
In one place, sort of.
Correct. And so another thing that I suggest too, and I tell everyone in class that we have before, is taking a picture as you're learning the values. So for example, I'm going to just take a picture of my pastels sitting here. So this is how they look. And then I'm going to take that same picture and I'm going to turn it to black and white. What it does is it's essentially like you turning that picture to black and white, right? So now all you're looking at is value. You're looking at the dark, medium, and light. You're not looking at, is it blue? Is it green? All you see on this palette is the dark to the light. And as you work through the colors and you learn the values, lay them out. I encourage you to lay them like this. Take a picture, turn it to black and white, and see if you're actually right on the right path, that you're recognizing the difference. Because you can have a really bright purple and a medium purple, and they're going to be the same value, but it looks like that bright purple is going to be way lighter, and it's not. So, for example, up here, that's what's amazing. What I love about Tony, Alan, and Mike is that they get the color, they get the gist of it. So look at my my colors up here on the palette. This is a prime example. So look at these. Okay, see how bright they are? Now look at my black and white. Look how the three, the purple, the middle pinky color, and that bright pink purple, they're all the same value. You know, you may not think they would be. So if you can find it on the black and white palette up top. So they're right here. But that's what I mean. It's, oh, shoot. I meant to take that in black and white. But that's what I mean. Honestly, that's been a shocking for me as I'm learning color. That, I mean, look
Yeah,
at
I'm
me,
looking
look
at the brick pink and the fluorescent green, and they're, I mean, it's pretty much the same.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So see that? and they look, you know, some look darker than the other. So that's what I hopefully, and I'm learning and working on it too, that I can recognize the difference just by picking out the sticks. So, but as you're beginning to learn values, I highly suggest, you know, lay it all out, look at it, turn it to black and white, and see if you're on the right path. And that's how we kind of learn to read these different colors. It's amazing. And then, of course, they're going to read a little differently once they're on next to each other. So that's the second challenge. So it is. It's like you lay out the sticks that I kind of know what will work well with each other or not. And I know that I have a lot more variation of values within a hue. And so just like Rash is learning how to blend to get that color that she wants. Which, were you able? Oh, that's pretty, Jeannie. I love it. It's beautiful.
I sent you a picture.
Yeah.
Of this.
Don't you love that purple right up above your dark purple? Look how it glows and reads so nice next to that orange.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Good job. In the sky. Oh, yeah. Good, Rosh. That looks much better. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good job. That looks really good.
Should I put the setting spray now?
What was that?
Should I put a setting spray now? I forgot that step.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And one thing to remember too, Rosh, is that blue, that light blue up over here by your mountain. Actually, it's more in the center.
Yeah.
I would blend it a little bit. See how you're going around the mountain with the color?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just soften that edge between the dark blue and that light blue before you set it. If you have set it, don't worry.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Almost. Oh, yeah, don't forget to mute. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so let's all right, we're gonna kind of play around with some grasses in here, probably using those colors I've been talking to you about, those bright purples and pinks. And so I'm just gonna pick up that bright purple, kind of play with the tops of these grasses. And mine is a square pastel, so I'm kind of using that edge and tapping a little bit to get some texture on the top. Just like that. This is the fun part. You won't be wrong. Just have fun. Put your color where you want. It's a warmer purple. I'm going to come down here. Make sure that we don't create a straight line. Kind of vary our heights, right? We don't want it too detailed because we want it to be the focus of that mountainside. So we're just adding a little bit of this bright pink at the top. So these are what I was saying, our sprinkles on our cake. Just a little bit here and there. then we'll come in with, let's see here. I'm going horizontal, right? Because this is the ground. Just light. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in with that really fun, bright red, just a little. I'm just going to, okay. Just kind of envisioning that the sun's kind of really making this more intense right in here, even though it is kind of in the shade, but we get to add a little bit of more pop of that color. Bring some of that gold in. I'm going to soften it just a little bit. Okay. A little bit of that gold right on the top of here. And then, let's see. Some muted purple, right? Because it's just kind of distant. Okay. I'll take a picture here. And what I do need to do is get some clouds in. And I'm just going to do a shade lighter of that turquoise. Let's see. Not light enough. And I'm just softening the edge here, remember. We just want it not too hard. Just dragging it lightly. Pressing a little harder in the areas I want more solid, but letting the edges very light over the light blue. Maybe just a little bit over here. So as we're kind of like evaluating and stepping back and looking at where we're at, I tend to kind of squint my eyes and see if any of the edges need to be adjusted. Like maybe I need to bring up the darks. Maybe I need to adjust where everything's laying. And so I know that I can see by doing that I need to bring in a little more of these shadowed areas. Doesn't have to be dark, but I just need to work that edge a little bit. And that helps me see. Okay. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Nice, Mira.
Thank
Good.
you.
So, yeah, I like that. Now you're right where that light band is, right here.
Yeah.
Now just take some of that light peachy color that you have right in here, and then just kind of come up a little bit into it.
Okay.
So it takes away that line, right? We don't want to create a whole worm that comes across.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then I would suggest this line right on your mountain. Just tap it with your finger and just make it a soft edge.
Okay.
Because what it will do is you want this to get pushed back in the distance. Right now it's trying to come forward.
Okay.
And
Got it.
and do you see? Yeah. So try
Yeah.
that and then
Okay.
let me see. Yeah, good job.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Good, Paul. Yeah. Nice. So now I love that sky color. You're doing great on the use of color. And so right here in your foreground, you can use some of that pinky color that you have up here in this fountain area. Take it and just go like this on the side with your pastel and just kind of hit the tops of your flowers. And what it will do is tie your painting. It will create a pathway here, and then it will bounce the viewer here, and then up to here. Good job. Let's see. Have this bright pink. And it's just refining because I have a 500 grit. It doesn't want me to layer as much. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are beautiful. Yeah, I love it, Claudia. The flowers, very nice. Very good. Good, Julia. Yeah. You guys are just doing great. The sky looks really good too. Squint your eyes if you need to look at anything too. If you need to work your edges, like maybe they need to get lighter or variation. Good job. I feel like I need to have something a little bit brighter, I guess you'd say. And I don't think that's the color I'm looking for. That's too bright. Right in here, I want it to be in shadow, but I want it to kind of pop a little bit, you see? And then create that edge. I might need to use that down in here. Just a hard pastel. Okay. This is one I think I could be working on for a while too. Another trick, I try to paint these in like an 8x10 or a 5x7 because then I can just use a mat to put over it. But if you do a mat just to look at it and see how it looks, it sure does help. And I'll show you again. I've been using it a little bit more religiously when I'm kind of towards the end. And so I can see what I need to fix. It takes away all of that stuff that I was working on the sides. Let's see if I can find a mat and do it here. I think that one's too big. We'll try it. But yeah. So see how that helps kind of get rid of the noise on the edge, I guess you would say, and then help you kind of decide what you need to adjust and what you don't need to adjust. Where the clouds kind of come up here on the side, or maybe I need to add more color here, or it's just not reading well down here. And so if you do have a frame, like a mat, I do suggest doing this. And some artists even like to include, you know, the side, the testing side, you know, to be a little bit more artistic. But I have been really trying to do this because it helps me see what I need to do. Maybe it needs to be brought up here, or, you know, obviously maybe I need to bring the sides out a little bit more to fit into the mat. So just another thing to remember, right? But it helps. So I think for now I'm going to leave it like that, come back to it and see. But you probably hear my niece and nephew, they're having meltdowns now. They're so cute. It's been a while since I've watched little ones.
How old are they?
Let's see. Rudy, how old are you? 5.
Oh, wow.
And Jules is 3.
Oh, my goodness.
They're so cute.
Are you home alone with them?
Yes, they're great. We've been painting and doing all sorts of things, but yeah, they keep me busy. So, do you have any questions, Paul, or? We kind of like.
Sorry, I walked away for a second to get a cup of tea.
No worries.
It's Julia, it's not actually English tea, but it's called Wing Hop Fung, and they have like a lot of varieties of black tea. They actually do have English breakfast tea. And this tastes, it's close to English breakfast tea.
So who do you work for, Paul?
Oh, I have my own, I have a website, and I have and I do some podcasting. I'm just a member of the press club.
Cool.
Yeah.
So whereabouts are you?
Where? I live sort of by adjacent to East Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I'm outside of downtown LA. I'm about a 12-minute drive from downtown LA, heading eastbound. And Yeah, I mean, I try to go into LA for like work, cover the city council when I can, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you came. I'm just fiddling with the front. And let's see here. Oh, I love it, Jeannie. Do you love it?
Yeah, I'm really pleased. Last week's I didn't like. This week's I like.
So last week was difficult. And I realized that when I started into it, I was like, you know, there is a lot going on. It's like trees and mountains and water. And I told Leah, I'm like, well, that was a little much. We're gonna dial it back a little bit. Although I'm gonna say you guys can keep up so just fine. So I don't have wait. We'll have to mute again. Sorry, Paul.
Sorry.
You're fine. I think that's what's happening is it competes. But yeah, no, I think that just that was a lot. So even for me, I guess doing thumbnails, that's another thing that I try to do these little thumbnails in my book, and I try to sketch out things that are just value based, black and white, and just kind of have an idea, because it is different when you put it on there and you say, is this going to work? You sketch it out and it's like, nope, not going to work. Oh, look at that, Rush. Yeah, pretty.
I just use that technique of seeing the colors in black and white. And I think just the value wise, they were same. So I went a bit little brighter.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you get to. Yeah, and then you can just kind of work that gold, you know, and then bring down some of those the purples and those red violets kind of down a little bit more, but you're getting the right value. See, you've got the muted color as you're receding into the back, you know, to the base of the mountains, and so you're getting it, and that's the most important. Your back mountain is reading further in the distance, right? Yeah. So you're getting it. Yeah, this is great. That's the whole thing I want you guys to learn is really reading what you see in this picture and how you're going to paint it, how you're going to make it read perspective wise. So I think you guys nailed it. And today was really fun. I think I told Leah that I'm trying to pick pictures that have a lot of contrast and that we have that light and dark, so we can learn how to manipulate those values on our paper, versus like the last picture was there was a lot going on. I mean, you guys still did great, but I really want to just focus on learning that perspective, because in landscapes it's all about perspective, and not painting every little branch, right? We know this is shadow here, and we know that these are some flowers in the front in the field, and we know this is the sky. And so it's just, you guys are doing great, really, really great. But yeah, it's, again, I will just keep playing with it. That's the fun part, right? And if you do need to add more color in here, just go ahead and spray it. And I may spray it again, but oh no, I like it. I like this. So, you guys have any more questions, or did awesome today? Good job. See, and then I just want to mess with it. That's okay. All right. If you guys want to send in your pictures, we still have a few more minutes of the class. I just added a little more color on the right side of the, that's not very clear. Yes, good, Paul. So you brought some of that light pink down below. Yep. And so the way to get the base of your mountain where this dark is, and then where you have that lighter teal, go a shade lighter, like what you have up in here, that medium. Take some of that medium green, blue green, and take it down and just kind of touch it over here. And it will create the foreground here and push this to the back. Pretty. Very nice. I love it, Claudia. You can even go lighter if you want with your back mountain, your very, very back mountain, but it looks really good. Very nice. Good job, you guys. Let's see. So what are we almost done? So it's, do we have one more class of mountains? I need to pull out my list to see what we have next. I know Leah has it too, but okay, so July, August. Okay, so August, we are thinking about, we have an option. We can do rocky landscapes, so like cliffs and rocks, or we can do structured type paintings like hay bales out in the field or fence lines, something with structure like that. What do you guys want to do?
They both sound great.
We can mix them together too if you want. We don't have to, we could do like every other week maybe, or try it out. I'm going to be going this week up to the San Juans, and I know that they have lots of obviously sailboats, but I know that a artist was up there doing a workshop, and she found a field full of hay bale, like the big round hay bales, and you know, it was kind of fun. So I'll see if I can get some pictures. And then I've got lots of rocky landscapes from being up in Alaska and all around here. So we could maybe work that into it too. So we've got next Sunday, we'll do some type of mountain scene and maybe work in a little barn or something fun in the foreground. Let's do that. And then that will kind of push us into some structures so we can learn about perspective, and I'll keep it fairly simple. So I'll look for something like that. And I heard, let me see. Yeah, send over whatever you have if you want me to look at it. Yeah, that looks great, Rashmi. Yes. Good job. Very nice. You like it? You did great. Yeah. Yep. You guys all did really good. So fun. How'd you do, Mira?
I think I did okay.
Okay, good. Were you able to add some more colors in the back?
I think I can do better on the grass, but
On the grass, yeah.
yeah.
No, I think you did great though, with all the shadows. And your blending is beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Well, okay, so I've got it planned. We'll find a mountain with a barn next week. And you guys have a great week.
Thank
And
you.
I'll record this and I'll upload it for you all too. So,
Yep. You too. Thank you.
all right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good job.
Bye.